Hold on. Why does Halloween get more respect than Friday the 13th? If you look at them at their base, they seem to be pretty much the same movie, bar the first Friday the 13th from 1980, because they had a different villain in that one. Watch Scream, they'll tell you about it. They're both about menacing men, besides that first one, stalking and compromising teenagers to a permanent end. That's the way John Cena says it. And while that plot doesn't seem like it would get much praise from anyone, given that it would probably get more of a disgusting reaction than anything else, given what the villains do in these movies, which it often did, or probably still does sometimes, but overall, the slasher genre is way more understood for just being cheesy, cheap entertainment. Yet Halloween itself is considered the ultimate Halloween classic, even from some people during the year it came out. It's considered a masterclass of horror, being an unnerving, unrelenting showing of terror, where even the quiet breaks of the film still feel tense because we're shown that no matter what, the Shape is watching. The movie is sitting at a cushy 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Famed and respected film critic Roger Ebert put it as one of his top 10 films of 1978, making one of the few slasher films to gain industry praise and to be considered an artistic masterpiece. Of course, if you watch it nowadays and it's your first time watching it, you may not understand why. But like most art, you have to look at it through the lens of when it came out. 1978 in this case, where they rarely had a film like it beyond Black Christmas and The Town That Dreaded Sundown. In another before we get too much farther, my name is Josh, and if you liked the video, don't forget to hit like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe and notification bell. I hope you enjoyed the video going forward. The 1980 film Friday the 13th was just one of the dozens or possible hundreds that copied the formula that Halloween from 1978 popularized. But as far as their own plots go, Halloween itself is a movie about an escaped, possibly supernatural insane asylum patient going back to his hometown of Haddonfield to hunt down and stalk more prey. With his doctor, Dr. Samuel Loomis, pleading with the police to please believe him in the pure evil that was his patient, Michael Myers. And throughout the film, we see Michael Myers, who's called the Shape in the credits, and multiple teenage babysitters, all because he decided so after one of them had walked up on his old home's doorstep where he was hiding inside. On the contrary, the original Friday the 13th is about a reopening summer camp that has a terrible past history with the mysterious passings of various counselors. It is told as a mystery where the attacker isn't known until the very end, very differently to the movie Halloween. There is no Dr. Loomis counterpart, although Crazy Route somewhat thinly gives you a more rambly version about the evils of the antagonist, I guess giving you a thin slice of their character. But there is no Haddonfield, there are only the teenage camp counselors in Camp Crystal Lake, and Halloween, as I recall, had no lake, although counselors are very similar to the babysitters seen in Halloween. The similarities between the two franchises becomes way more apparent starting with Friday the 13th Part 2, where the villain from then on, as fans of the franchise know, besides one more film, became Jason Voorhees. Except there was no Dr. Loomis counterpart, so arguably Jason goes to hell the final Friday, with there never becoming a Haddonfield counterpart or any insane asylum origin. So when you hear the stories outside the basics, you'll see that they don't sound all that similar. So why do critics despise that movie while adoring Halloween, when it seems so stylistically similar filmmaking wise? And before we continue, I would like to state something else. As said before, my name is Josh with Jack, wink wink wink, editing this video. And I love both of these franchises, so any negative thing that I'm about to say is not reflective of my actual personal enjoyment of these franchises, because I love both of these movies. I watch them all the time. I'm just talking about, for the sake of this video, why the films had very different critical reactions, because you'll see it all the time when you look it up for yourself. So why is that? A very simple reason of, drumroll please, being derivative to an insane degree. Wow. Was the filmmakers of Friday the 13th knowing it? Halloween took inspiration from the likes of Alfred Hitchcock, nicknamed the Master of Suspense by many. This could even be seen very directly in the film itself through homages, such as Dr. Loomis taking his name from Sam Loomis, a psycho. But the difference is, John Carpenter, the director of Halloween, took inspiration from a famed thriller genre expert to help craft his second film ever. You watch the movie and you could tell they came from separate directors with their own unique visions for their own films that have different plots, different types of characters, and so on. Sean S. Cunningham, the director of Friday the 13th, on the other hand, just freaking ripped off Halloween. That was his goal. The opening shot of both films are POV shots from the aggressor's perspective from their first attacks. Teenagers going about their day messing around, sometimes as friends, sometimes as lovers, creating an atmosphere where you almost think anyone could permanently end at any second. The remaining bodies scattered around in brutal ways for the remaining survivor to be scared of by the climax of the film. And the most innocent one gets away with just severe mental trauma. all while making a use of a bunch of jump scares to get the audience to jump out of their seats. With the sequel garnering even more similarities with Jason Voorhees himself, both him and Michael Myers are speechless villains shown walking more often than running, only interested in stalking and ending people. They share interest in wearing masks to cover their face and using mostly everyday cutlery or tools to attack their victims. In essence, besides backstory and Jason's mommy issues, they are written almost as if they are the same exact character, becoming more similarities as more movies are made, with Jason also becoming supernatural, and then full on becoming supernatural. And then a robot, which isn't that similar, so they're similar and different. I'm not acting like they're completely the same character here, but enough for people to think that they are pretty much the same. To many critics, the original Friday the 13th movie franchise was only a low-grade bootleg copy of the original Halloween film, and the success was made like that by design, as the Friday the 13th was only made due to the success of Halloween. Victor Miller, the writer of the original film, even admitted that was the case. It was just made to be a ripoff as per instructions from Cunningham. Both Halloween and Friday the 13th had simple stories, but Halloween had the advantage with character conflicts and at least ongoing story, haunting themes, memorable, if often simple characters, and a mysterious ending that left the audience with chills. Critics found Friday the 13th to have as much depth as cardboard, with essentially nothing deep to say and no actual plot to be found besides violence and making love. But that didn't stop both of their franchises from having notable and iconic success at the box office, both having a dozen movies and large dedicated fandoms for both of them. The actors who play the stalkers are often the main attractions at many horror conventions, the likenesses of the villains becoming part of the public consciousness in the mainstream. So ripoff or not, Friday the 13th became successful, even more dominant than Halloween during the 80s, when the Halloween films weren't being made much, because people just thought the Friday the 13th movies were fun. Not many people thought they were full of depths. They weren't trying to make them out to be art, most knew what they were. Easy, fun roller coaster entertainment to go see with their friends to have a cheap thrill for the day. And they loved it. Not every movie is out here to be artistic or skillful. There's many different movies for many different purposes. Friday the 13th just found its narrow yet money-filled niche. Plus one thing Friday the 13th had over Halloween: Kevin Bacon. Now again that the video is over, did you enjoy the video? Hit the like button, comment if you have something to say, and please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you decide that you want more. Which slasher villain is your favorite? Mine is Michael Myers personally. If you have any video topics you'd like us to go over, please tell us in the comment down below, and I sure hope that you enjoyed your stay, and that you enjoy the rest of your day.